Worthless kind of already getting thrown behind. Oh, in this lane.
Yeah.
Or in the jungle, at least.
It is a good move, because RJ on Olaf is going to be a lot stronger into the earlier phases compared to that of a Kha'Zix. While Kha'Zix is great at dueling, if you rotate together, you can't get that isolated damage that you'd want to on Kha'Zix. Now this is something I've actually been seeing. We go down to the bot lane, and Bucksack's starting W on Lucian. It's really interesting to kind of see how a lot of people have been deciding to go for that over the Q.
Yeah, I honestly can't really explain it. I think it's because it's got more range, you're able to sort of play from a safer distance. The base damage is about the same as the Q anyway, and then being able to get the movement speed is probably really good utility. Honestly, yeah, I think the Q does require you to be a little bit closer up than you would like to right now, especially since how chaotic these early games can be. So then once you hit that level 2, level 3, you get all the access to all of your abilities. That's when Lucian really spikes at this point in the game now.
So I want to keep an eye on this bot lane. If Evan RL is able to get a great hook onto Ino, this is going to be an easy snowball. Bucksack should be able to get that first kill. It's actually going to be the hook onto Sherp, so he takes a good chunk of damage.
Yeah, you were saying, like, yeah, Evan needs to get a hook on Ino. He also can get a hook on any one of them. Thresh isn't necessarily that tanky this early on in the game, especially since he's opted to go for the coin as his first item. So he's missing out on a lot of HP. But coin is for regen, so you want to take these sort of like short trades so that you don't necessarily get chunked out. So as long as he doesn't get hit again, he'll be able to sort of make it work the lack of pressure that he's been able to relieve.
So I will say, I'm not necessarily a fan of going coin into such an aggressive lane like Bucksack and the FNRL, just because you're not going to be able to get that health regen you normally would with the Relic Shield. Instead, it's more of the mana regen and getting a little bit extra gold quickly. But it could end up hurting Sherb if he gets constantly hit by these dredge lines. Exactly.
But I think coming from I know there's two camps of Thresh mates who either start with Relic Shield or the coin. I am actually a team of the coin, but right now,
ooh, flash forward, going all in. RJ's in the area as well. He already got the root. Taking a lot of damage with the ignite, but the heal keeps him alive, and then mid lane. Even a fight coming between Rovex and Captain Trim does burn the ignite coming in from Rovex.
So as we were kind of just saying, was it Sherp getting engaged on by Evan, but kind of a lack of focus. Actually, Shrimp.
Oh, Shrimp stepping way too far forward. Flash just needs one more hit, but the Ignite's gonna scare him away from this dive. But first blood will go to Captain Shrimp. Throwback overdressing way too far.
Rovex took an extra tower shot trying to walk between the edge of tower range and avoiding Worthless as well. Ended up just taking a tower shot and dying to the Ignite there. And missing his W there was the main reason he didn't get that kill on Captain Shrimps. It was like just a slight, maybe, I would say like a centimeter or two away from actually hitting him.
It's unfortunate for Rovex because we already talked about the snowball potential. Now this allows Worthless to go into the jungle. We'll go very heavy onto RJ. But Bucksack and RJ already looking to see if they can turn it back around onto Worthless since everyone has to spawn on the side of
Yeah, and I guess with all that action that's been happening, we never got to talk about what happened in the bot lane. Evan, again, going onto the Sherb, but the focus was primarily on what looked like Ino. So
yeah, they wanted to get that kill onto Vayne. I can't say I blame them. Shut down Vayne as soon as you can, so that way it's going to take forever for her to scale, and you're never going to have to worry about Vayne actually becoming worthful and worthwhile in this trade.
Yeah, but again, a lot of the damage that was first front-loaded onto the Thresh, and then the Olaf put all of his damage into the Vayne, so I think maybe just a bit slightly lack of communication there, or perhaps just a miscommunication on what their target should be in the instance. But now that we reset a little bit, the lanes are still relatively in favor of Columbia. They still have the gold lead despite losing first blood.
Except for this mid lane, Captain Cook is pretty far forward with the CS as well, and now, sure, getting Ino out of there. Really nice Lantern to keep him safe. This is one thing to talk about with Thresh. Once you get that Lantern, Dark Passage is so useful for keeping a lane safe.
Very similar to Tom Kench, which we saw was banned by Waterloo, not allowing that defensive option. Nautilus, almost a purely offensive-based engaged support. Not a whole lot of skill there except for his E.
Oh, Misty Stumpy flashing away, but here comes the Fear Beyond Death. Does go for the Petrifying Gaze, but he brings him back with the change. And Shawnee's going to be able to get an easy kill on him.
And you were talking about how Fizz has to be like both these mid laners have to be roaming around. Neither of them have teleport, so Captain Shrimp just walked his way up to the top lane and started that dive.
This is what I was talking about as well with the roam potential of Fizz. How you can easily go into these other lanes and try to see if you can get someone ahead. That's what Captain Shrimp did. He had the lead in mid lane over Rovex, goes top lane, gets the kill for Shauner, but they do give up this Infernal Drake, which is really going to be useful for both Rovex and Misty Stumpy. Worthless getting caught out in the jungle, not thinking that everyone's going to be there, so does have to jump over the wall and will lose out on the red buff.
And again, another kill is missed because RJ misses that last axe onto Worthless. I think, dodge by pressing S. The memes are real. Actually just got out of there without being able to, having to burn even more. He should have died for that, honestly.
Captain Shrimps going in onto Rovex, but RJ's in the area. Playful Trickster to get Captain Shrimps out of dodge. Kind of surprised to see no Vanguard's Edge coming out of Rovex to try to see if they can pick up a kill.
I think by the time that fight started, Rovex realized that he wasn't going to land the stun, and really that a huge part of him wanting to engage is getting that extra mark for his Q. So right now, he misses the stun. Captain Shrimp just goes in.
Goes in, Playful Trickster tries to dodge away from a little bit of the damage, but it's not really helping when you're falling behind. Captain Shrimp's getting a solo kill onto Rovex is now snowballing well ahead of this Aurelia.
And this revolver that Shrimp was able to buy relatively early in the game makes his, especially single target damage, super incredibly strong. Predator going off though.
Predator going off, Jump the Waters is up. He wants to be able to use that, but
No
Playful
meta.
Trickster out. Just going for the dive, does not care at all, but that's going to be a trade for sure.
And again, that revolver damage coming out from Captain Shrimp chunks the RJ. So that forces the trade. Without that damage, RJ probably could have gotten out there, I would say pretty safely. But, the Ignite plus the revolver and the W auto proc was just too much. There's no way that RJ is going to survive that without some kind of repercussion.
The only good thing is they did get the shutdown gold on the Captain Shrimp. So hopefully they'll be able to get some decent gold share across the team. RJ already picking up the completed jungle item. So maybe that will help, but look at Rovex. He's only got the Tiamat compared to the so many components coming in from Captain Shrimp. Already have the Kindle Gem as well. And now Misty Stumpy, once again getting ganked. Looks for the Miasma back on to Worthless, but here comes the Fear Beyond Death. A lot of damage traded back onto Caution, trying to see if they can make the isolated damage, but this might be a trade back. The poison will take it away, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Now
Bot late here.
Flash for Death Charge onto Eno. Here comes the heal, but it's going to be Shauner showing up in time to try to see if they can disengage. Rovex, he's finally rotated as well, but look behind. Captain Shrimp is going to come in with the Tumble Water connecting onto Evan RLL. He wants look back instead. Takes him down. Vanguard dead coming in. Rovex is able to get the kill on Eno, but might be able to trade it back on the Sherby. There's a lot of damage. He's one more frog and does pick it up. Here comes this Stumpy into the fight. Finally responding after all this time. Gets a shutdown onto Shauner. Captain Shrimp's going to be the sole survivor in this trade.
What is happening this game? This isn't the World Championship. We shouldn't be having these 5v5 fights with 3 TPs coming in from both teams this early in the game. It's only been 10 minutes and we've already got 12 kills happening and I think more than half of those just now in that last team fight. I don't even know where to start.
Gyoza, that fight was so long that Misty Stumpy was able to get the trade kill in the top lane, die, come back, TP into that, and pick up a shutdown gold.
And honestly, I think Worthless probably regrets going Dark Harvest now. If he was in that fight, could you imagine how many stacks he would have gotten just then?
He would have.
And he gets the one
so
stack
many.
for top lane, and thankfully now we have a break, so we can kind of just talk about what happened that last fight. It's pretty much, we saw that the dive happened top lane, and that was Columbia's decision. It was time to say, hey, there's a dive happening top. Let's just get this dive bottom lane. They go straight down for this bot lane. You have Shauner, great reaction time, immediately TPing down to the bot lane, able to at least provide some kind of support, and Captain Shrimp's able to rotate down as well. With that fight, Rovex, what a beast. A 4-man Vanguard's Edge, I would say, able to just go straight through the entire team into the Vayne, and finishing off Eno 1 before, once that fight starts. And with Vayne gone, most of the damage from Team Waterloo was also gone because Shrimp had just used his ultimate and most of his cooldowns. Shauner did have his ultimate up, and Worthless wasn't even available for that fight. It was just an insane course of events that, as we look at it, gives Columbia the first tower.
gives him the first tower, plus it puts Rovax back into the game. He was sitting 0-2-0 before that fight, just had the Tiamat, didn't have anything compared to that of Captain Shrimps, but now was able to go back, get Phage, get the Null Magic Mantle to be able to survive this lane a little bit more. This actually could make it so that he can actually go toe-to-toe with Captain Shrimps despite being a level down. Here comes the Underwater to only on the Rovax, that is point-blank range. Worthless picks up, tries to see if he can get the Camouflage back to Dark Passage. And nobody will die in this fight once again, but Columbia still with the edge.
Really good rotation essentially by Sherb there. You know, normally I would say a lot of support would opt to stay in the bot lane, but oh, what a hook!
What a hook landing on a Rovax, but here comes the Depth Charge with that Vanguard's Edge. A lot of damage onto Sherb. Sherb trying to see if he can keep Captain Shrimp alive, but it really didn't help. All they need is one more axe thrown by RJ to get the shutdown onto Fizz. And with everyone in mid, Columbia look to siege down this tier 1.
And this is where the snowball starts. We have Team Columbia grouping up in the mid lane, and they have the engage. They have the stuns coming out from Aurelia. They have the axe come from Olaf, which slows pretty heavily, and also the Nautilus. As we said, these hook champions would dictate the fight. Even though Sherb was the one who caught Rovex, his team's the one who lost 2 people.
Team loses 2 people, lose a turret, lose red buff as well. Worthless hasn't been able to get his own red buff for the past 2 cycles of it spawning. That's what's been happening towards this bot side of the map. This is the powering you get when you have something like Lucian and Nautilus in bot lane.
Yeah, this Vayne needs to start, not even necessarily start, but needs to ramp up a little faster. Has just finished her play of the early game, which will help, but it still doesn't fix a lot of her problems. But right now, another dive coming up top.
Going for the Petrifying Gaze. Look who's here. Hex Flash coming in from Evan RL with the Ignite to scare away Worthless. It's gonna tick down. Might be able to get him with one more. And they also pick up Sherb, so it's 2 kills on a botched engage coming in from Waterloo.
Evan RL must have some kind of like... He was moving up at such an opportune time. I don't think it was even warning. He just sort of came up there and saying, hey, you know, I think they might be trying to dive our Cassiopeia again because they've already done it once. They'll probably do it again. And just happens to be there right as Worthless is ticking down to the poison, finishing off with the Ignite, and then Stumpy with that beautiful Cassio ult hitting both of them and stunning them primarily, which is the important part because Worthless was not able to do any damage before essentially dying that entire time.
And Misty was already backing off from the engage as well. The side of Waterloo should have pretty much seen that Cassiopeia wasn't in the area, more than likely going for the recall. Misty just being in the right place, right time, was able to get that Petrifying Gaze to pick up the kills that they needed to. This gives Columbia control of not just the bot lane like they had before, but now they've moved all that momentum into the top side of the map.
Now when these games go to this situation where it feels like Columbia is just so far ahead. At this point now, the only way that they can lose this game is to essentially what people say is throw. What do you think is like another option here? Because Waterloo has to staunch this bleeding somehow. Like all their lanes which were essentially ahead in the first 10 minutes of the game, they're now way far behind, and Waterloo, they're not gonna get any time to breathe.
And this is where we have to look at the items and see how it's going. Right now they do have the Tech Proto Belt all ready for Captain Shrimps, but they need him to be in the area because that's where the primary amount of gold is. But if Rovex gets picked off by Sherb, that could have been a huge play. Sadly, like I said, Captain Shrimps not being in the area at the right time means a lot of gold has been denied from the side of Waterloo, and they cannot look for those picks even when Sherb's able to land the hook.
When did Worthless even grab the Rift Herald? Was that just like all of a sudden?
I'm pretty sure that was when the dragon was being taken in the bot lane when they got the Mountain Drake. It was just a trade of 1 for 1. But like I said, so much of this tempo has been lost on the side of Waterloo because they have to keep up this pressure that's been laid out by Columbia. And honestly, it's crazy because look at Rovex. Still hasn't gotten a completed item, still working up towards that Triforce, and that's when the power spike of Rovex truly is going to come into effect.
Yeah. But then also Cassiopeia with the completed Rod of Ages, so just able to get that stack started. She's now building up her way to Archangel's Scepter, and she's going to be even harder to kill when that's completed. So this Cassiopeia has been able to survive for the most part the rough parts of the laning phase, and now that she's building towards becoming even harder to kill and doing even more damage, she's only going to scale even harder. And this Urgot, he hasn't even finished his first item yet. He's either going between what looks to be probably a Black Cleaver first, followed by I want to say Adaptive Helm. with the Spectre's Cowl.
I'd imagine it would be the Adaptive Helm coming in next, just to try to see if he can stop a little bit of the damage over time coming in from Mr. Stumpy. But the thing that really just is standing out to me right now, we look over to the CS lead. And Captain Shrimps was doing a great job before. When laning phase was even, he was able to get the roams well before Rovex, but now look at it. It's come over to 25-30 CS lead for Rovex, and that's with a kill less than Captain Shrimps as well. Just been able to utilize that Tiamat a lot more effectively, and Captain Shrimps has been able to clear out these minion waves and even get these side lanes impacted well enough. This is when you're starting to lose as Fizz. You're not getting the snowball into these other lanes. You didn't help out Eno enough in the bot lane, who's sitting 0, 1, and 2, only has that Blade of the Ruin King.
Exactly. Fizz kind of just falls off at that point. As you said, he's a very effective roamer in getting these kills off from ganks, rather than necessarily a farming kind of mid laner, which is surprising to see that they opted to go for this Fizz pick as a counter to Irelia. It worked so far in the early game in terms of the laning phase, but a lot of the game isn't really won by laning phase. It's the period of time where you're roaming around as your mid laner to get these kills and snowball really fast within the next, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes. But it looks like Columbia decided, hey, we are going to just roam with as a team for 5 and get these leads instead.
Exactly. They have 3 turrets compared to none picked up by Waterloo so far. That's a lot of gold sitting in the pockets of Columbia. Look at how it is. It's right now almost 6,000. It's about 5,500 in favor of Columbia. That's how far ahead they are compared to that of Waterloo. And honestly, all they have to do is wait. 2 minutes left until Baron's going to be able to spawn up. If they can bait Waterloo into a fight around the Baron, should be an easy game for Columbia.
Yeah, and this 1-3-1 coming out of Columbia is so devastating because it's starving so many resources away from Waterloo. Right now, 3 people are trying to contest this Wraith camp, but RJ gets hooked.
Gets hooked, but look at that. That is also a level lead over Worthless right now for RJ. Pretty much level leads everywhere except for really the, I'd say, mid lane, where it's the most even. Missy Stumpy usually has this CS advantage, usually has the experience advantage over Shauner. So it's been really difficult for the side of Waterloo to be able to do too much because they're, like you said, getting starved out, they're falling behind in levels, and they're not being able to contest their own jungle camps.
And look at the inventory for Columbia. There are a total of 5 vision wards in their, like, holding on to these players. And that's so much vision being available. That's a lot of vision they can just throw out there saying, hey, we see you and we can pressure you just off of what they can see. Meanwhile, Columbia, currently no vision wards left in their inventory. I believe the last one was just placed in Dragon Pit. But now, at this point now, does Waterloo have a chance at really starting this fight?
Waterloo is going to try to contest the Infernal, but Columbia already backing off. They're sitting here. RJ right now in that brush. They do have a superior vision. Like you said, Columbia has been doing a great job with that. But if they're able to get these picks, then they should be able to get the fight. Just depends on how they want to fight it. They get the stun on the 3 members, but not going to go for the engage. Instead, they're utilizing Misty Stumpy in the side lane now, trying to see if they can contest. It might be a little bit too late to get the pick on Shauner. Here comes the Dark Passage to get him out of battle. Like I said, Misty Stumpy being a little bit too late, they actually give up the free Infernal to Waterloo.
Yeah, if Columbia wanted to contest that dragon, Stumpy should have been TPing way earlier to, you know, and engage on this fight. Columbia, they should know they have the actual, they have the lead. They should be making the first move in terms of trying to get these engages because they're ahead. But it seems like I guess they were really respecting Waterloo's team comp and watching out for this. I don't even know if they really have the damage to really, like, bluff the damage out.
Don't think so either, but look who gets picked off right now. It's actually Rovex being a little bit too late. Fear Beyond Death does get the fear beautifully, but they do give up Sherp. Here comes the re-engage. They're able to pick up RJ, jumping over the wall. Worthless trying to see if he can get the assassination, but Eno just doing a little bit of damage. Worthless left out to dry, has flash over, but here comes the flash in for Mystic Somebody to slow him down just a little bit. The poison doing a lot of damage. Needs one more tick, and Worthless is barely going to be able to take his way out of there.
I don't even know where to start with this. Rovex kind of... It was really good job by Shauner to be the one walking in front, because then it's really difficult for Rovex to really get to that Vayne, especially with the Thresh being right next to her as well, being able to flay her away, get hooks off, and also the box to sort of just prevent all this damage coming out from Vayne. And Eno 1 just got a really good mechanics there, just being able to properly use the stealth coming out from the ult. And I don't know, that fight didn't seem like something that Columbia really wanted or didn't seem prepared for all the way.
It was definitely weird. Rovex pretty much just sat there, ate a free hook, even though full vision of Sherp the whole time. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe just not paying full attention to what was going on. Maybe thinking about what kind of play they can make and looking at other parts of the map and allowed an easy grab from Sherb to pick up Rovex. Because, like you said, it just delays the snowball that was already being picked up by Columbia, where they easily could have started rotating and pressuring around the Baron. Instead, they have to bait it out a little bit, go back, get more of these control wards that they've all filled up their inventory with, and see if they can make...
6 control wards now.
Exactly, but they gotta make sure that they're getting control of this Baron pit again, because they lost a lot of that after that botched engage.
Yeah, and I think it's a little confusing as to why Columbia isn't being just a little bit more aggressive with these picks, because Vayne, as we said, Vayne does do a lot of damage, but only after a certain point past the Lucian. Right now, I would say Vayne probably has to get 3 items in order to surpass Lucian. Like 3-item Vayne is better than 3-item Lucian. And it looks like right now, Columbia decided, hey, we're gonna go for this Baron right now. We have the vision control, but it might be a little bit too obvious.
Connor has TP going in for the flank, but here is just a little bit of disengage from the side of Columbia. That's the thing with Baron, it doesn't do as much damage as it had once upon a time, so it seems more facilitated to start it up to bait out these TPs, and Shawner having that large cooldown now burn.
This is kind of what I was expecting, like in the Dragon fight, where I was expecting Missy Stumpy to TP a little earlier and prevent the buff from being just taken for free. So I guess right there, Waterloo kind of showing how it's really done to really pressure TP, and he made that choice. He's decided, okay, I'm going to TP top to prevent the Baron and let the bot lane, wave push stop there. Whereas Misty didn't even get the top turret. It's super low, so again, in that Dragon trade, they got nothing for the TP. Or at the very least here, the Baron stop is a lot more important, I would say.
Definitely important, but keep in mind how it staggered these TPs. Look at Misty Stumpy's cooldown on his teleport. He's going to be up way sooner than Lashana since he just used that now, which means all Columbia have to do is wait for that TP to come off of cooldown, force Shawner into bot lane the moment they see this Urgot bot lane. You TP around the Baron, force a fight, and take an easy Baron.
Yeah, right now, I still say that Columbia is playing a little bit way too scared, I would say. Given the lead that they had, they still have a pretty substantial lead, 7k up, going for the Baron again. Not even
Shawner being bot lane too. Look at that, Misty Stumpy already just rotated. They can easily take this Baron, it's going to be a 4v5. They don't realize that Misty Stumpy's in the area. He's looking to see if he can get these picks into the back line as the rest of Columbia pulling off of the Baron for now. They actually have pinged out Misty Stumpy possibly being in that brush, thinking that that was what was going to happen. They had no idea what this Cassiopeia was.
It looks like right now Columbia just isn't confident that they can keep sustaining this kind of Baron dance around. They have the vision to do so. And right now, Evan RL trying to find some kind of pick here.
Could be in trouble. They got the pick onto Sherb. Here comes a lot of damage. They get down Thresh and Shawner going right into the thick of the fold. They find Evan RL. They get the Fear Beyond Death, but they already lost Eno in the back line. Rovex is able to get a ton of damage onto Shawner. Goes on to everyone. Worthless is out. Only Captain Trick survives, and Columbia finally find the pick they need.
That is the fight that Waterloo absolutely did not want, because just got completely caught out. RJ and Misty Stumpy coming out from the side, that is the worst position you want your Vayne to be in, because you have an Olaf who can't be stopped, and a Cassiopeia who has a huge single target DPS, and this Vayne, you may be stealth for a short period of time, but there's a cooldown to it, whereas Twin Fang doesn't really, it's a pretty short cooldown. Comparison.
Plus depth charge, even if you go invisible, you're not going to be able to dodge away from Nautilus. Once it locks onto you, it's coming for your booty. It's going to make you fly up into the air.
Yeah, so, I guess, again, Columbia College doesn't, I guess, right there, it kind of solidifies the fact that they do have the lead in this game, and whenever they want to find a fight, they're just trying to find the right fight. Trying to find a place where they can catch the Vayne, as opposed to the last game where Vayne was well protected by the Urgot and the Thresh. This game, that last fight there, Vayne kind of left out the dry after the Urgot and the Thresh were stopped by the Nautilus.
Look at how the CS leads, the item leads have been translated towards these teams. Shawner actually not going for that Dapper Helm, instead going for the Spirit Visage just to try to deny a little bit of damage from Misty Stumpy, but I definitely would have preferred the Dapper Helm coming in.
Just overall just seems better, because Urgot doesn't necessarily have a lot of healing anyway. To really utilize that passive. Perhaps for no, but that has cooldown reduction too, which is for the extra
Right.
HP. Then it looks like so. Yeah, interesting choice of items there. Whereas Missy Stumpy going pretty much completely in the offensive build here. Has a Zanya, sure, but that's also just more damage available for him to use. And he's just going to be able to get more. Void Staff looks like to be coming up next. And Rovex going for... just finished his... I don't even just finished, but has already got Hysterics Gauge as well. Like, right now, Columbia is in a really nice spot. And Waterloo just kind of needs Vayne to at least get maybe one more item to really shred the front line of Waterloo, because without it, these tanks are just going to run her over.
Exactly. Having only the Blade of the Ruin King against his Rage Blade is not going to really be that much. But here comes the Fear Beyond Death. They got the pick on the Missy Stumpy. They got a lot of damage on them as well. Shutdown for him. But they're looking for the re-engage. That charge is disengaged for now. Trying to see if he can get back into the fight. But he's taken pretty low already. And meanwhile, Rovex in mid trying to see if they can take down the inhibitor already.
And I guess right there, sure, just showing why Thresh is actually a really good champion to have when you're behind, because if you can get a hook like that onto Missy Stumpy, which it's so crucial because it can hold down a person on the enemy team for a solid 2 seconds and provide just so much damage. But
Trem's trying to go for the assassination, but just gives up his own life instead. Rucksack will be traded at least, but it doesn't matter because now look who's here. Rovex looks for the Vanguard's edge. Does have a lot of disarms all over the place. Could have gone for the resets, but they didn't want to go for the dive. RJ was taken too low in the fight, and Worthless showing up. Shows that Columbia, they're a little bit afraid, even though they have such a massive CS lead, they have a massive gold lead, they're waiting until Missy Stumpy can teleport into this fight before they go for the full engage. Here he comes.
Yeah, I think they're playing just a little bit too aggressive forward in, but wow, what a splash stun!
Flash forward, gets the pick on to Eno. Well done by Missy. That's an easy inhibitor, and they're looking like they want to get more. They look like they want to keep the pressure into the base of Waterloo.
I feel like they probably could at least gotten an extra turret off of that, but they're just opting to just get all the outer turrets. But Rovex might be going a little bit too hard by himself.
Yeah, Rovex, a little bit questionable, but does have the Hysterics Gauge, trying to see if he can do a little bit more damage with the Ignite. He's going to make sure that he does not get the trade. Instead, they do trade mid-inhibitor.
Oh, another hook!
Damage. Beautiful hook. Oh, he's landing on the Missy Stumpy. Fear Beyond Death coming in, but it's going to be body blocked by Bucksack. They already took down Shrub. RJ fighting with Captain Shrimps, but Captain Shrimps is much better in these duel situations. Sadly, the problem for Waterloo is even though they're getting these picks, they're winning these fights, they're losing their base.
Yeah, I don't know, it seems really weird for Columbia College to have these, essentially a 1-3-1 split within the enemy base. It seems like that situation, they were better off just grouping up as 5, securing towers. They ended up getting 2 inhibitors off of it, but they did lose like, was it 2 or 3 in total, with Missy Stumpy dying as well. So, it just seems weird to kind of, essentially, they're giving a lifeline away, because the longer this game goes, and the more kills, albeit at a trade, it's still better for Waterloo to let them catch up even more. This Vayne is quickly approaching her 3rd item, which I say is the turning point in which Vayne can safely be able to move fast enough to avoid a lot of damage, while also providing so much single target DPS.
For me, just looking at this is how much they've lost from that one Baron. 2 inhibitors down means that they're going to constantly have to stay in their own base. And obviously, Columbia, they just want to play for these objectives. They have 2 Mountain Drakes with the Cassiopeia. Once Baron spawns up again, they can take that so quickly. Waterloo probably won't be able to answer in time.
Yeah, Waterloo, especially right now, has to just be careful not to get caught out, because it looks like Columbia just looking for it. They have the tools to be able to just say, hey, we see someone alone, but right now, this might be it!
Taking so much damage, and it gets solo killed by Bucksack, losing out Vayne, losing out some of that damage that we wanted to see coming into these fights, means now Waterloo have very little ways in a fight back. It's a 4v5 with their last inhibitor being up.
And right now, it looks like Columbia just gonna start pushing this last inhibitor. This should be the game, unless they're planning on just taking out the inhibitor and just leaving it as so and just continue starving resources away until they're confident. They wait for the Baron out and just win off of it. But there's so many minions in the base.
So many minions. They're gonna have the double super minions everywhere. Here comes the Vanguard's edge, landing on Deshaun. Missy Stumpy doing a great job of zoning away Captain Shrimps, but they're just looking for the game. They want to end this cleanly. Got a beautiful petrifying gaze into the backline on a Worthless, as well as on the Captain Shrimps. Tries to jump back in, but only gonna use the stopwatch to say, I did something.